Hey there, thank you for joining me for this devotional. Sorry that it's coming out pretty late. As I mentioned in my Friday video last week, we've moved. And so now we're actually going to shoot this video from our new house. And just with the moving and all, schedules have been really crazy. But I still wanted to get this video out there for you guys. And among the major newsworthy things that have been going on is the death of Christian thinker Ravi Zacharias. Ravi Zacharias, big, very influential Christian author. He was what's called an apologist, which means that he worked to come up with philosophies that helped defend Christianity, helped explain why Christianity makes sense of what we know about the world, how Christianity makes sense based on what we know about reason and logic. And Ravi Zacharias was hugely influential as an apologist, as an evangelist, as an author. And I'm going to share two things that Ravi Zacharias is somewhat known for. I'm going to share a quote of his today. On Saturday, I'm going to share something that a lot of people noticed about Ravi Zacharias that I think speaks volumes to us today. But for today, I wanted to address a quote that he had made in one of his talks. And there are a lot of people who talk about, if you had an opportunity to say anything to God, what would you say? Or, when you get to heaven, what's the first thing that you're going to say to God? And a lot of people have various answers. For a number of famous atheists, they are going to ask God why God didn't make himself more obvious to the world. Why is it that more people don't understand all of the signs that point toward God's existence? There are a lot of people who say that they want to ask God, why did a certain tragedy happen? Why is there pain? Why is there suffering? Whether it's in general or a very specific suffering, a very specific pain, why did this thing happen? That's what a lot of people say that they would say to God. And it would make a lot of sense for Ravi Zacharias to say, he would want to ask God why he suffered so much. Ravi Zacharias, in his own testimony, mentions that at the age of 17, he attempted to commit suicide. He failed. He ended up in the hospital near death. And he just felt like his life was completely meaningless at that point. Why was he allowed to suffer like that? Ravi Zacharias had broken his back. He had 2 metal rods put into his back. He said that he was in excruciating pain, and it made his work as an evangelist a lot more difficult. Why was he allowed to suffer like that? And then being from India, why all the suffering there? Why all the suffering around the world that he had witnessed? It would make sense for him to say that, but that's not what he says. This is what Ravi Zacharias says. Somebody once asked me, what are going to be your first words when you see God? I said, I'm going to be absolutely silent, because I'll be terrified at what his words are first going to be to me. He then repeats this for emphasis. I'm nowhere near concerned about what I'm going to say to him. I'm truly concerned about what he's going to say to me. I think some of us even are kind of there. We have these thoughts of like things that we're going to say to God, but we also have this dread of, oh my goodness, what does God think of me? What would God say to me? What would God say about how I have done this thing, or I have said this thing? What would God say about that? What would God say about the shame that I feel? What would God say about my failures? What would God say about my inability to do the things that he's asked me to do the things I think I'm called to, that I'm not living up to a certain standard I think I should. I haven't evangelized the number of people that I should, or I haven't helped the number of people that I think I should. What is God going to say about this? But that's not where Ravi Zacharias takes this. This is what Ravi Zacharias says after he talks about how he's so concerned about what God would say to him. If I were to hear from him the words, "Well done, what do you say?" The divine accolade that everyone longs for and dreams for. The divine accolade, the divine bestowing of honor. Well done. As Jesus finishes out the quote, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And I think Ravi Zacharias' point is, he's when he dies, he's thinking he's going to go to heaven in bated breath, like, "Oh, am I going to hear it? Am I going to hear it? This is the thing that I've always wanted, and I hope I end up hearing these words." But I also know from Ravi Zacharias other teachings that Ravi Zacharias has already heard the words as he lived on earth. Whether it's the words "well done" for the ministry that he had performed, or whether it's the words that Jesus spoke, that were spoken to Jesus, the words that were spoken to Jesus from the Father at Jesus' baptism. "You're my child, you're my beloved, I'm pleased with you." I think Ravi Zacharias had heard those words spoken over him as the gospel message of God's great love for us, even though we are sinners, that God didn't see it small to do whatever it took, as much as it took, which it took everything, as God became one of us. And now God looks at us with those words. "My child, I love you, I'm pleased with you." I don't doubt that when Ravi Zacharias got to heaven, he heard the words that he was so concerned to hear, that he so desired to hear. Ravi Zacharias, who sparked an incredible ministry, Ravi Zacharias, who did so much work to help advance the Christian defense of our faith. Well done, good and faithful servant. Words that all of us want to hear. Words that, if we're honest, we don't have to wait to hear until the end of our life. These, I think, are the words, and maybe we could take a page from Ravi's book and be a little bit quieter in our own thoughts and in our own minds. Because if we could for a moment be quiet before God, I think we would begin to hear these words being said over us. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll try to get these out earlier in the day, Friday and Saturday. We're going to keep going with these videos. God bless you guys. Bye.